Okay, finally, the Evercade EXP Limited Edition has finally arrived, and it comes complete with the official Evercade seal of quality. Absolutely nothing to worry about, is there? Without further ado, let's get started with the video. Okay guys, welcome to Crazy Burger. So finally the EXP LE is here. Inside the box was the tempered glass screen protector for your EXPs, should fit the white or black one, and this comes with two, which is fantastic, so nice touch I guess. Okay, so in this box we've got the black version of the EXP. Now let's hope that there have been some improvements made, because the white one certainly had a few issues if you followed my videos at all. And yeah, so these are actually replacements for the stolen stock that was stolen in the UK. So anyone that was outside the EU, which was UK, other parts of the world and US, basically missed out on getting these at Christmas time. Yeah, and if you want to identify which ones were stolen, they will not have the seal of quality on the front, and they will have a slightly different image that you see here. So if you're looking on eBay and you see it's not like this, that is most likely a stolen product. So let's hope that this one doesn't have as much issues as I had with the white one. There was definitely a few problems with it. They have said that they have been working on creating some fixes, so this should be a huge improvement over the white one. So I'm expecting it to be less of a problem. And there should be less issues. Let's get this bad boy opened up. So I have to say that the box detail is absolutely fantastic. They certainly have the design sorted for this. Really impressive. That's something that they always seem to get right, is the design of the boxes and artwork and stuff. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Anyway, let's try and get this box slid open. I'm assuming it's a slide open. Okay, let's slide this bad boy off. It is pretty tight. Retro gaming, put that to the side. So it's pretty much just a black box, as you see, pretty plain. You know you're getting the black limited edition. So you've got this quick start guide, hold down 2 seconds, blah 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 in the box. Okay, so then you're greeted with the black version. And there you go, it looks really cool. We'll look at this in detail in a little minute. I just want to see what else is actually in the box. Should be quite a few different things that are in here. You've got your certificate of authenticity, whoopie-doo, and it's got a seal of quality on this as well. I guess that's what stands out from the standard, the previous version that was made. And also you've got this added Evercade hero, the victim of crime. Thank you very much, we hope you enjoy. And all the signatures of the Blaze team. I thought they were a small team, there's lots of folks on here. You think that's everybody? Who knows, a bunch of squiggles. Oh, that's probably the clearest one I guess. Okay, what else is in the box? We've got R-Type in the hunt. It looks like these kind of a postcard things, yep. A little bit of cardboard, they're basically cardboard. This one's for the Tour Plan collection. So also in the box we've got the Iron collection, Arcade 1. Oh, lots of cardboard in here. Oh, we've got a poster, I think. Let's have a quick look at the Tour Plan. So you've got Tour Plan cartridge in here as well. We'll have a look in a second. You've got the R-Type poster. So basically got some kind of a double-sided poster. This one's R-Type. It's actually quite cool, I guess, if you like that type of thing. And the other side is, I think it's a mixture of Irem and Tour Plan. All the games that are on that collection. I guess that's quite a nice touch to have added here. Maybe stick that to your wall or store it safely in the box, never to be seen again. You've got your charge cable, I'm guessing. Yep. You've got your USB to USB-C charge cable. That's black as well. Let's see, anything else in the box? Oh, you've got your Evercade EXP Limited Edition Capcom collection. That must be like a kind of a thing. Let's have a look at it. It's probably an instruction list and stuff. And what else have we got? We have a hard Evercade EXP case. Okay, so just having a quick look at the case. This case is solid, absolutely brilliant. Let's have a quick open up. I'm pretty sure there's something else inside the box as well. Yeah, there's a little keychain cartridge, which is insert cartridge, I guess. I suppose that's alright, I'll sort of put that in there. I guess there's plenty of room in here to fit all your carts in there, probably fit in quite a lot of them. I'd imagine you could have at least 10, 12, maybe even a lot more than that. You can fit your EXP inside the little slot here, as you can see. It's got sort of cables to keep it in place so it doesn't actually slide out. It's actually not too snug, there's sort of spaces in between the ends here, so let's sort of close it up. It seems fine. You could actually easily fit in your other Evercade in here, maybe if you've got another EXP like I have the white one, and put that there. That would be quite interesting. Anyway, it's sort of interesting that that actually fell out there even though it was in, but yeah, nice case, absolutely fantastic. This is probably one of the best reasons to get this solid case, absolutely brilliant. Anyway, let's have a look at the other things before we have a look at the EXP. So obviously we've got the Capcom collection on the EXP, and I'm not going to play every single game. If you want to see all the games, I'll leave some links in the description, and I've played through every game that's on the collection, rather than sort of wasting that in this video itself. Now this is Tour Plan Arcade 1, which I've also covered on this channel as well. There are 8 arcade games on here. And this is not a bad cart. It's not amazing, but it's pretty good. There's some nice Tate mode games on here that's obviously ideal for the EXP itself. I'll add in a couple of videos now of some of the games that's on this collection. Hey! Now obviously also we've got the Ireme Arcade 1. This comes complete with 6 games, and this isn't bad at all. I think I preferred this cart over the Tour Plan. R-Type's quite cool if you like your shoot 'em ups. It's obviously a very well recognised game, and the hunt's amazing fun but super tough. Moon Patrol I really enjoyed as well, and the other 2 games were alright too. Not an amazing collection of games, but it's decent enough to get you started. But I guess if you're getting the EXP, it's all about the Capcom games. Now we'll leave a couple of videos of some of the games on this cart, a quick sort of look at them, and maybe a couple of the Capcom games as well. Okay, speaking of Capcom, we'll have a quick look at this. I'm kind of scared to actually sort of burst this. It's obviously like a little manual. I'll try and be gentle so I don't waste it. Let's have a quick look. So it's basically Capcom Collection. So also in this is obviously part of the Heroes discount code. I really don't feel like a hero. I feel like a victim. You know, I'm not a hero. That's just nonsense. Exclusive 20% off discount code for Fun Stock, where you can go and buy some stuff. I guess for me, I'll probably put that towards some of the new carts that are upcoming very soon. And also in this box is a Street Fighter Hyper Fighting poster. Oh, it's a double-sided poster again. So you got one side, you've got the Street Fighter Hyper Fighting poster, very nice, and the other side is a list of all the games that are on the Capcom Collection itself, which, yeah, that's actually quite nice as well. Okay, let's have a quick look at the manual. This comes complete. You can actually get this with the white version as well, but you don't get the poster, I don't think, or the magnet. And this is actually quite cool. It gives you all the moves that are in Street Fighter Hyper Fighting, and it's quite important. Because if you've never played it before, you know that it's all about trying to utilise all those special moves to try and, you know, beat your opponent. It's basically just a manual of all the games in detail, which is a really nice touch. I know a lot of people love this type of thing. Okay, let's have a look at the actual EXP. I have to say I really like this black version. Obviously you got your Tate modes buttons there, and this is the button down below here that actually switches to the Tate mode. You've got your headphone jack, charging slot, that's your volume up and down buttons, that's your LED flashing light, and you've got some speakers at either side at the bottom here, left and right. Which I think are really odd places for speakers. I don't think it gives the greatest sound at all. Over here you've got your start and select button and your menu buttons, which I've found to be, yeah, not the best. I have to say they're quite thin, quite annoying, and yeah, I don't really like them. The buttons themselves seem a bit smaller. They're actually fine, and the D-pad is probably one of the best things I like about the device. It rocks really nicely, quite soft, not clicky at all. You see it's very, very soft. And you've obviously got your shoulder buttons. They actually feel quite soft as well. Then you've got trigger buttons. You've got your mini HDMI out. That's if you want to record footage or obviously display it on a TV. And you've got your on-off switch, which you hold down for 2 seconds to turn the device on. If you turn the device over the other side, you've got a vent here at this side. That's just a sticker. More vents here, I guess. And you've got your cartridge slot. Now apparently the cartridge slot has been made slightly wider to accommodate some of the older carts that were tight fit. And if you watch my white EXP video, you'll know that these things are pretty tight. So let's have a look at this cart and test it. Okay, it seems to go in okay. Does it come out? Yeah, it comes out okay. So they've made a very, very slight adjustment to these the cart slot to make it a little bit wider, so that none of the carts, I guess the older carts, have any issues going in and out. And you can see it's still a little bit tight, but it's fine. It comes out without resorting to using a knife or anything else like that, for example. So that's already one thing ticked. That's a huge improvement over the white first edition ones, which were clearly a problem. Now just have a look at obviously inserting the latest iRim cart as well. Okay, and that seems to fit absolutely fine. No major issues, it seems to go in fine. I guess the only thing about the black edition is that the carts are white and they obviously show up quite clearly. It's a pity we can't have black versions of carts as well, because obviously it's not aesthetically pleasing, so to speak, is it? Just having a look at some comparisons with the black and the white versions. You can see here black and white, it's obviously completely identical. In the white version you can see the bezels don't show up quite as clearly. In the black version you can clearly see the bezels. If you want to know the information of the device, I'll leave the stats on the screen of what the specs are of the EXP. Obviously it's exactly the same as this, apart from the fact the white one is obviously got some issues that I have, but this version I've got, the improved version, replacement, certainly is a lot better than the initial one I had. It certainly had a lot more issues, but the sound still isn't particularly amazing. So let's see what the black version definitely entails. Is it an improvement? We'll find out soon enough. I'm going to give it some playtime and then we'll come back to you later in the video. Okay guys, now basically it's the next day. I've sort of tried to run it down the charge, recharge it, and see what the battery life's like, what games are like, etc, etc. So what I'm going to do now is just go through some of the good points and the bad points that I've found so far. But overall the experience is definitely much better than my original EXP that I got back in December, the white version that is. But as you can see here, it's definitely fully charged. It's got 4 bars. Which is already a good sign. Battery life I found is 3 to 4 hours, solid 3 to 4 hours you get with your battery life, which is alright. It's a little bit less than advertised, but it's better than, I think I was getting 2 hours on my original EXP that was definitely a little bit faulty at the time. But there's no doubt the best things about this thing is this screen is absolutely brilliant. Admittedly it could be a little bit sharper, but for the games it's actually playing, it's completely fine. And obviously I go into detail in all of these games in different videos, so I'm not going to go through all the games that are on this unit. I'm really looking at all the good points and bad points. Now one of the sort of good points is certainly the screen, as we said. Something I want to touch on is probably the sound. And you can see here, the sound is absolutely fine. However, it's not the same in every game that you play. If you sort of jump into Mega Man, for example, the sound is very, very quiet. Well, basically, it should be a lot louder than it is. That's my finding. I found that the sound's all over the place, and it might be an emulation problem. Which obviously can be fixed via firmware. I kind of thought it might have been down to the location of these speakers being down here. It might feel as if it's a little bit muffled, but I'm not really sure. It might actually be emulation. If you look, this is Mega Man. It's obviously a NES title, and that's it as loud as it goes, which I guess isn't too bad, but I kind of feel it could be a lot louder. And one thing that you notice when you put headphones in, it's very, very loud. And let's get me some headphones and I'll try and prove that point. Okay, so this is just a standard pair of sort of phone headphones that I got with my Galaxy phone. And what I'm going to do is actually insert the headphones. So inserting the headphones into the original white version, I couldn't actually insert this fully and the sound wouldn't actually work in both ears, which is a bit annoying. Okay, I'll try and link this so you can actually hear the sound. Might be difficult to try and prove this right enough, but let's unpause that. And through actual headphones, it is very loud. I'm not sure if you can actually hear this at all. It'll probably be quite muffled, but I can confirm that through these headphones, the sound is stupidly loud. But when you take the headphones out, it sounds alright. I mean, it's fine. I'm maybe just being a bit nitpicky, but I definitely feel that it's not as loud as it should be. That's just my hunch. It feels like it needs to be a little bit louder. If I put the sound up, you can probably hear the background music, which is fine, but I still think it could be a lot louder. The beeps as well, I've certainly heard it louder on the white one as well, but yeah, the sound is definitely a little bit iffy, but I'm sure that this will be fixed with a firmware update. Now, talking about firmware updates, I probably have to mention this. Evercade were going to update, or Blaze were going to update the credits, or have some kind of heroes credits, where anyone that was the victim of this crime where you're stolen EXP, there would be a sort of list of heroes with your name on it. However, that's not even been updated yet at the time of this video, which is kind of disappointing. I kind of thought that this would be updated for the launch. Obviously we've not had a firmware update since end of December on the EXP. They have been prioritising like the original handheld and the VS, but personally I think this should have been there for the launch. So if you're looking for your name, it's not there yet, but it should be added in an update very soon. Obviously I've added the hidden games already. If you don't know how to do that, I'll leave a link for evercade.info. It has all the information of adding these new games. There will be more added to this through time. I guess in the next firmware update there'll probably be a few more added as well. So that's really cool. So the sound is probably the main bugbear for me in this handheld. It's certainly not consistent through every game that I've played. I guess one of the good things is that the slot has certainly been made wider to accommodate the older cartridges. The only thing I certainly noticed, you probably can't tell, there is a slight gap at the side here. This is probably not so noticeable in this cart. If I get one of the newer carts, it's more noticeable. So having a look at Indie Heroes 2, obviously the carts are not tight anymore, which is fantastic, but there is a very, very slight gap that you can probably see or not on the left hand side. But it's not a major problem, it's no big deal, and that's absolutely fine. I can accept that. Now that's absolutely fine for me. Okay guys, I've deliberately dimmed the lights just to get in the mood, obviously, but yeah, so I've dimmed the lights just to show the light bleed. This is the white version. You can see there is some light bleed at the bottom of that. It's much better than my original one, but this replacement model certainly improved. Now this is the black version, and as you can see, there is absolutely no light bleed, so that's really good. Something that is noticeable, if you look at the top here, you can just see a thin line. Obviously you can't see it when you're looking at it straight on, but there is a kind of a light at the top there, which is kind of weird. It is actually on the other version as well, as you can see. But yeah, backlight or something, I don't know what it is, but it's not a major problem, it's just something I noticed. But yeah, there's light bleed in this one, no light bleed on the black version, which is fantastic. So already there's certainly a lot of improvements that are apparent to this black version. Now another thing I want to touch on is Actua Soccer. This should work. This is obviously a PlayStation game, and the L2 and R2 buttons should be mapped. They obviously changed the cameras. It's even mentioned in the actual controls. Now, this is something I raised with the white version. It was supposed to be updated with a firmware update, and yeah, we're 3 months later. We are still pretty much waiting for that firmware update. It is supposed to be imminent, right enough, but it's still kind of annoying that 3 months later we are still waiting on an update. It is what it is, but it's kind of annoying. You see the L2 and R2 buttons, which I'm pressing here, don't change the camera angles, which is kind of annoying because it makes this game really good fun to play on the handheld. It was a lot of fun in the VS when you could actually change the angles of the camera at will. It certainly makes the game more playable, but the fact you can't, it's kind of annoying. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm sure it's going to happen imminent. I guess while we're on that, talking about controls, we could be doing with some button mapping that you can sort of change these to whatever you see fit, but still waiting on that as well. I think the next firmware update is going to be huge when it does actually happen. Now I would assume at the time of this video it should be happening in the next coming weeks. That's what the info I'm receiving is telling me. But anyway, that's another sort of bugbear, I guess. You've got competition mode, and there is a lot of other things that have been added on the arcade games. You've got coin limits in there as well. If we go back, I'll sort of show you what I'm talking about. And here you've got your coin limiter thing. If you want to sort of limit yourself to a certain amount of coins, you can do that if you wish. No big deal. There are stats for each game as well, how many times you've played it, and all the controls, but you can't remap the controls as yet. Hidden games, this one's coming soon. This will be probably kickstarting next month in April with your game of the month for Indie Heroes 3. That should probably start. Everything else is pretty much as the other version. There's nothing really else to talk about here. So overall, it's certainly a far better experience than I got back in December with my original handheld, the white version, which just was completely flawed. Hopefully they've sort of ironed out a lot of the main issues. Like the cart slot is not tight anymore, so if you've got the original carts, that should not be a problem. It looks good. There's no light bleed in this version. Sounds certainly a little bit iffy for me, but you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. You can get away with it. I think if you're certainly looking at getting an EXP now's probably a good time to start looking. Hopefully you get the new batches that come out with all these kind of fixes, and yeah, it's probably worth buying. Now there's certainly a lot coming up with the Amiga carts and a Pico Collection 3 that's just been announced, and there's a lot more carts coming through the year, so I certainly think there's a lot to look forward to on this unit. Now we'll have a quick bash at something in Tatty mode, because that's what this thing is certainly sort of banking on, that Tatty mode. And I guess all you need to do is press this side button and it jumps to Tatty mode. And obviously you can change this. This is basically playing full screen. But if you don't want it full screen, you can obviously just put that. But then you end up with sort of borders if you just have it in the original ratio. Now again, I don't think this sounds not up too loud. I think it could be a lot louder. This is as loud as it goes. And for me, I think it could be louder. And this is obviously an arcade game. Not really sure what's going on, but it definitely feels to me like it's muffled, or there's something not quite right for me on the sound. It's very inconsistent. Anyway, the tatty mode is quite cool, but for me it definitely becomes a bit tiring through extended use. Okay guys, just to maybe a summary of the EXP Limited Edition. So far I've had mainly positive experiences. I've had no issues, or very minimal issues, that I experienced originally back in December. This unit certainly has a lot of improvements that they've promised they were making. Again, the only issues I've had the sound, but you can hear that with some games the sound is absolutely fine. It just seems to be with certain emulations, I guess. But yeah, I can't really fault it too much, to be honest. It's certainly a far positive experience, and one of the best things I guess about the limited edition was the absolutely cracking hard case that we got with it. Absolutely brilliant. Anyway guys, thanks very much for watching the video, and we'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now. Ah, not my favourite character.